to work. And what about the question about hiding? Well, that will come after the close of probation. And even this location will not be safe. Angels will have to show us where to go at that point, because after the close of probation, Satan has total control of the finally impenitent. And there's nobody to be saved anymore. Everybody's made their final decision. At that point, God, like Elijah, will prepare a place for us to go. Now, of course, they will hit the cities first before it hits here. Another reason not to live in the cities is because God's judgments are about to fall on the cities. If you live in a city, you can't leave during a quarantine or a severe control. The vaccine is coming and you won't be able to move if you don't have a vaccine. And the vaccine has many, many physical risks to our bodies and possibly to our minds. And we have to be very careful. This is not a normal vaccine. This was developed specifically to control mankind. And so those who stay in the cities will probably die in the cities. Now God can forgive. Samson lived among the heathen. He violated God's law. He paid the consequences, but God will save him because he confessed his sins and God gave him back his strength. But he still died with the Philistines. We don't want to die with the Philistines. We want to continue working to save. And so living outside the cities, when the judgments of God fall on the cities, those that are living outside will be protected. But the time to hide will come after the close of probation, not now. This is not hiding time. Many have asked, when should we leave the cities? Well, if you are raising a family, you should have left a long time ago. Because as we mentioned, living in the cities, living in the country is primarily a place for a safe spiritual environment for raising a family. There are many that work in the cities, but like Enoch, we need to live outside, go into the city, rescue people, preach, share, and come back outside and bring them back to God's nature again. So already we should be living. So they say, when should we leave? You should have been out already. But what is the limit do we have? How long do I have? Well, the longer we wait, the more impossible it becomes. First of all, it takes time. We learned from this property that it takes time to build. It takes time to buy materials. You can always live in a tent, but as we learned, it's pretty miserable. And those who have a comfortable home, have a roof over their head, and have tools to work with and plant are like kings and queens. If you're living in a tent, it's still better than living in a city, but it can be pretty miserable if the bad weather hits. So if the sooner you move out, sell your home while you can still buy and sell. Sell your home, sell what you have in the city. Many people write to us or call us and tell us, we would like to live in the country with you. And do you have a place for me? I said, do you have a home? Yes. Well, go sell your home and then come back and talk to me. Well, we don't want to sell our home in the city. Then stay in the city. Because they're not willing to invest their resources. They want somebody to take care of them in an emergency. But they want to stay in the city as long as possible. This is not for people like that. For people who are willing to put everything on the altar and move forward, God will open a way. In every country, there is a place God has prepared for His people. And how long do we have? Well, here in Bolivia, and probably similar situation in many other countries, we only have about 3 more months before the vaccine becomes required. Once the vaccine becomes required, you will have to have a vaccine certificate or passport to be able to travel. So if you stay in the cities until that time, even if you want to leave, you can't. And so the question is, how long? Months. Every country is different. Some countries already require it, and other countries are about to require. So it varies from country to country how much time we have. But one thing for sure, if you don't comply with the vaccine requirements, most people will not be able to go to the grocery store, go to the bank, travel. Pilots won't be able to exercise their licenses. Chauffeurs and drivers and those who work in public locations will not be able to work there. Schools, you can't go to school unless you have it. All students will be required to have the vaccine to go to a public location where all the students are there. And so it's time to start thinking months away. By the time this video, somebody might see this video, it might be already too late. But I know that God loves people, and the reason He's brought us, we thought that late last year was going to be the last opportunity, but God is merciful. He gives us a little bit more time and a little bit more time so that people will wake up and do it. But once you make up your mind that you're not going to go out of the city, you're going to stay there no matter what, then there's nothing that God can do. But God is gracious to us to give us a little bit more time so that we can get ready and we can make the move for those that want to. There are a lot of people that ask that question of I'm undecided. I'm on the fence. I haven't decided, should I go now? Should I not go now? Should I move out of the country? What should I do? Well, as we get closer and closer, the evidence becomes greater and greater that things in the city are not going well. Pandemics, controls, 5G, many influences. The wickedness is increasing. Violence in the cities. God's judgments are about to fall in the cities. And the question is, are you really undecided? Do you really need more evidence before you make your decision? It seems like God's people have a bigger problem deciding than worldly people. Worldly people, they can see what's happening and they make a very snap decision. They're buying properties everywhere, and they're moving out of the city. If they had a property that was for sale, they're not selling anymore. They're developing it, and they plan to move there. Already, I know of many cases where people who owned a property are now developing, building on their property, simple houses, agriculture, and so on, and they can see what's happening. The question is, why are you undecided? What else do you need to convince you? Do you need the judgments of God to fall first? You wanna wait till it's too late, till the fires come on Sodom and Gomorrah? Or do you want to wait until it's impossible to leave the cities? Do you want to wait until a vaccine becomes required and then you cannot leave unless you have a vaccine? What are God's people waiting on? The evidence has been clear. I tell you why I think people wait. It's because they love the world. They love the comforts of the world. Secondly, they've lost confidence in the spirit of prophecy, and because of that, they don't want to follow the advice anymore. They believe their opinion is better than God's counsel. But I would like to encourage you. If you wait too long, the door of the ark will close. And for those that in Noah's time that waited, there was a whole week where the animals were going into the ark. But one day, the last day, it was over. The last animal went in, Noah and his family went in, and the angel shut the door. Now, there was no choice in the matter. The choice was during the last 120 years, especially during that last week, while all the animals miraculously were going into the ark. So, do you want to wait until it's too late? Because it will close one day. Suddenly you wake up and you realize, like 9/11, the event happened, you thought you had more time, and you don't have any more time. So I would like to encourage you, make your move now while the mercy's door is still open. God in His mercy is holding the winds a little longer. Make the move. Sell your house. Sell your goods. Move out, and you'll be like kings and queens living out there when nobody can, when there's starvation going on in the cities, when pandemic, there's another disease X coming along. They're telling us already there's another disease X coming along. They're going to release further bacterium. They're going to release further viruses, possibly. There'll be other things, and coming in, bacteria, severe epidemics, infectious diseases that have no treatment. The virus, the COVID-19, isn't anything compared to what's about to happen. And when that happens, severe controls will happen. The devil is trying to stop the loud cry. But God is looking for people who are obedient, who are healthy, who are free, and who can follow His leading. To do that, you have to live in the country. But if you prefer to die, God can forgive you. You can ask God to forgive you, and He will. But you will still die with the Philippines like Samson did. So, do you want to be on God's team during a loud cry? Obey today. You'll have God's protection and blessing. You say, but I don't have any money. God has all the solutions. He's waiting for you to take the first step. If you take the first step, God will show you an open door, and He will make it possible, even for the weakest of the people, the weakest person, an elderly person, older people, or don't have a single mother with children. You say, but I can't. If you make the decision to go forward, you will watch God open the doors for you. That was our experience with this property. And you can say, but Uncle David, you had resources. We didn't have any resources at all for this project, but we made the decision to obey. If you do that, you will find that God will bless you also, and He will show you the way. God already has a place for you, by the way. He already has prepared a place for you. As you move forward, He will show you where that place is. So don't be discouraged. Just trust the Lord. Lord God Almighty, He has the answer. He's your Creator. He's your Redeemer. He loves you with an infinite love, and He's already made a place for you. The question is, will you obey? If you will, and if you make the decision, get off the fence and